So I should probably fill you in, there's a computer next to me, there's a few screens that I'll be going and sliding between. So if I look to the side, it's not because I'm ignoring you, it's because I'm doing things like this. Alright, so it's 4 o'clock. Thanks for coming. And I'm going to talk you through how to use YouTube for your business. Let me just turn my sound on slightly. So that it's not just a dumping ground for videos, and that it actually does something for you. So a lot of businesses use social media, they know that they need to put content out, they interact with people. YouTube seems like it's a bit of a mystery to people, and I think it's the biggest opportunity because you can rank videos on YouTube search, which is the second biggest search engine in the world, on Google search. YouTube suggests your content. Bloggers always go on there and take content off and embed it and share it, and people pay you to be there. So believe it or not, we actually make money to put videos on YouTube now. Now, we've only got a small following, but it pays us about $160 a month, which just ticks up slowly over time. And Facebook doesn't, actually Facebook does do that now. LinkedIn does not do that now. So I'm going to go over generating subscribers that matter to help you generate revenue that isn't just the better ad revenue like we get. So let's move on to the first slide. So I want to start with what I'm calling home truths. So there's a lot of promises on social media platforms, especially that you'll go viral, and there's a lot of opportunity out there, and that's very true. But it's also a lot of work that is involved to get you there. Virality just doesn't tend to happen. So some of the home truths on YouTube, really, and the one that I'd like to start with first, is you need to set a goal. Now, especially in marketing, this is something everyone knows they're supposed to do and they never do. But if you want to build your subscribers past 100, it needs to serve a purpose. There's a reason why you're going to do this. So for a business point of view, that might be they want to generate leads, they want to sell products. For a YouTuber's point of view, it might be because they want to generate ad revenue, affiliate sales, course sales. But either way, that's the first thing to think about before you even start a channel. Because if you turn around and go, I want to generate X, Y, and Z, and actually YouTube's not right, then it's kind of a pointless exercise to start with. Your first year is going to be the hardest, I'm afraid. Getting 100 subs is actually quite easy, and I'll go into a minute how your first year might actually look and how many subscribers you could realistically expect with good growth. If you don't have a following anywhere else, if you're not using social media, if you don't have an email, if you don't have a website, this is going to be a lot trickier. So anyone who's just putting videos on YouTube to start, bear that in mind. You're going to want to give up at points. You're going to feel crushed when you spend 16 hours on a video and then you get 3 views. Trust me, I've been there. You're going to need to hustle to get views. And personally, here we believe you need to learn to write to get results. Now, a lot of people don't write their content, they just stand in front of camera talking, kind of like I'm doing now using slides. But if you learn to write, you can plan your content so much better. You can make it more informative, more educational, more entertaining, and then the filming and the editing process is so much quicker. So do yourself a favour and start by writing, and then work out from there if that works for you or not. You're never going to stop learning. You do need to learn to film, edit, promote, write, measure, and present your content. Not straight away, but these are the skills that you need to pick up. And you kind of need to enjoy it. So if you don't like being on camera, but you want to be, that's absolutely fine. We've worked with clients before who have not wanted to be on camera, but knew they should be. Great. If you don't want to be on camera, you can produce videos like I'm doing now with slides and talking over it. That's okay. But YouTube's really great for building personal connections. And personal connections are very powerful in the business society. So society, the business world even. So we think you need to want to be able to write, film, promote, edit, and produce content on a regular basis. And put really at least 1 video a week up to YouTube. Now, if you're still here and you think, oh, you're not been scared off by that sheer workload, then you still have an opportunity to grow and develop your business or your channel or your following. But it's not going to be easy. Sorry. I hate telling people the truth. I should just be one of those gurus who says, be on Facebook and post and you make millions. But I'm just not a liar. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so you know your goal. You know this is going to be a lot of work. Now you need to pick your topic. So pretty much every video you'll ever find on YouTube about getting 100 subscribers is going to say the same thing. You need to pick a niche. Now, that's why I'm not really starting with it, but it can't not be in this presentation because it's so important. So for the businesses out there, you already will have a niche, but you still need to think about what sort of content you're going to produce for that niche. So I use guitars as an example all the time. Let's say I sell guitars. I could make content about guitars, playing the guitar, looking after guitars, reviewing guitars. But that's really quite general, even within that niche. So a better option to try and get more specific views straight away and to build a name for myself in a smaller niche would be to target things like Les Paul or a Fender Stratocaster and make a lot of content based around that. So it's looking at your niche and how you can create content on a topic within that niche as a good starting point. And as you grow, you can continue to develop that. But also, being small is a bit of a gift because you will probably never be this small again, which means you can do things that people won't see, which means you can make mistakes, you can experiment, you can have some fun with things. So don't rush to get 100 subscribers super quick, because actually your first 100 should be where you have some fun and play and try and work out what content works best for different people. So then we move on to, once you've got your niche, which is going to be obvious for a lot of people, your time frames. Now, this kind of goes back to your goals as well. Let's say you're a marketing manager and your boss has come up to you and said, you want to build a following on YouTube, you want 10,000 subscribers in 3 years. Now to them, that's easy to say and do, but is it a realistic time frame? So what I like to try and do is work it out, and I've made videos on this before using a compound interest calculator. So I'm gonna run over that now with you and show you what I get up to. So this is a compound interest calculator. It's basically calculating for investments. The idea that if you invest £50 a month for 20 years at a rate of 6% interest a month, your money's going to shoot up exponentially. And you can do the same in subscribers. So when it comes to setting your goal, you might say, okay, I want a 3-year time frame, and I want to get X amount of subscribers, and I want to generate X amount of revenue from it. You need to actually check out it's realistic. So let's have a look here. The first thing, let's say your channel that you've been looking after to start off with has got 50 subscribers sat on it. Now, we need to play around with the interest rate per month in order to get it to 10,000. So with the calculator like this, you can fill out 36 months, and I've already done this, calculate that. It needs to be 16.2%. You hit calculate, and after 3 years, you'll be able to get to 11,000 subscribers. Now, this is not something that's just set in stone, but what it means is you can turn around and go, okay, is this doable? Am I setting myself a target that is too high, or am I setting myself a target that is too low? And one of the reasons I particularly love doing this is because this calculator will show you just why getting your first 100 subscribers is so hard. So let's have a look at this. So it maps it out nicely for you here. And we can see here that after month 1, if you go and get if you increase 16% on your 50% subscribers, you'll pick up 8 new subscribers. And the next month 9, the next month 10, 12, and so on. And then after a year, if you can do this consistently every month for a year, you might end up with 300. So if you look at where you are now, you want to think to yourself, do I believe that I can get to 300 subscribers in a year? And do you know what? The answer is probably yes. So that's starting with 50. And you can see that even, let's say going at YouTube and putting at least a video out a week and doing a lot of promotion, which we'll get into later, it would still take you 5 months to put on those 50 subscribers, which we can see here. I apologise if it's not too big on your screen. Then the second year, by the end of year 2, you've got 1,800 subscribers. Again, that sounds totally doable, especially if you've got other places like social media to push people. And then at the end of year 3, you've suddenly got 11,000. So this is where the compounding kicks in. And some months you might need to put on 297 subscribers. And to give you an idea, last month we put on over 500 subscribers on our channel in a month. So actually, it is possible, and once you hit a level of growth, it will do what this graph is doing, and things should grow exponentially. So that's my little nerdy graph that I love talking about, but really it gives you an idea of your time frames and if what you want to achieve is possible. So now we want to look at your who. So there's no point having these time frames and setting these goals if you don't know who you're after. So if you're a business or a YouTuber, you do need to know who you're making content for. So let's use the guitar example again. You know, if I'm that fits into the music category. If I'm making content about violins one week and then Les Pauls the next week, it's going to really mix up the audience. You need to think about that. It's like, who is this for? How old are they? Where do they live? What are their interests? So I'm going to show you a video now, which means I get to take a couple of minutes water break. And that's going to go into a little bit more detail of the importance of setting your target audience and how you might work out who they are.
There's a big issue online. Everyone is always trying to understand and work out the algorithms, whether that's on YouTube or Instagram or any marketing platform. How can we trick it to get us seen? The algorithm is built to please the users though, so trying to work out how to please that is like looking after the middleman. You've got to skip the algorithm and establish how to make content that pleases people, more importantly, the right people who are in line with you, your personality, values and beliefs. I bought an Alfa Romeo not because I thought it was the best car, but because I have an internal narrative, a belief of who I am and what I buy. I'm a bit quirky. I'm bad at a lot of things, but very good at a few others. I don't want people to think I'm boring. I'm all about being more entertaining. I believe you should do and say what you want and not follow the crowd. Alfa Romeo's marketing and products ticks the box of the type of car that fits my internal narrative, and therefore I should be driving one. It's a statement. BMWs and Mercedes make better cars, I'm happy to admit that, but you'll never find an Alfa driver who won't argue that you've made a mistake buying one, because they were never made for Alfa drivers. They were made for the play it safes, the people who want a ton of gadgets they never use so they can show it off to their mates, and they want that German reliability. Every amazing product around the world is targeted at persona. In the business world, we call them avatars, and I'm now going to show you how to establish your target viewer so you can make them content they're willing to argue with people about. And it all starts with your demographic. This is a term many people think they understand. It's the details about who your client or viewer is. You need to know things like how old they are, where they live, their sex, how much they earn, their occupation, ethnicity, things like that. The issue is, that's nowhere near enough. You also need to know their psychographics, a big word that is basically their personal characteristics, things like personality type, attitude, values, interests, hobbies and behaviours. Let's just look at those a little closer. Firstly, personality. Are they easygoing, loud, quiet, creative, statistical? You might find there's a mixture in there. Personality profiling is where you fill out a series of questions and it lets you know your personality type. There are a ton of different platforms that do it. We've done a few of them at the business. I myself am a creative mechanic, basically a weird mixture of someone who likes the creative side of things as well as building systems and processes and learning all the sort of minuscule details. As a result, you'll find the stuff I write fits my personality type because it's very, very hard for me not to do that. I like to dive deep into how things work and probably overwhelm those who are not the same profile. So sorry. So when it comes to personal brands and YouTube channels, that's okay because there are many of us out there who are the same. But if you're a brand and you want to appeal to people who are more bigger picture and only care about the result, not how you get there, this style of content might not work for them. It'll probably bore them. So you rejig how you write it and focus purely on the end game. So you produce motivational content that pushes your target viewers towards that goal without giving them the step-by-step guide of how to get there. For content, it's worth thinking about these personality types you're after, as it will make a big difference. We make content about being on camera. We need to talk to those who have an element of showmanship because anyone else just won't do it. Check out 5 Voices or Talent Dynamics and get your own profile done. It will teach you a lot about other humans and how to make content that works for them. Then we have attitude. This is what your target viewer thinks about issues. Do they agree that most YouTube videos are far too badly produced, presented and suck? Or are they of the mindset that everyone is different and they're willing to suffer the pain of another long-winded intro just because they're nice people? Do they think that doing weights at the gym is a waste of time and functional workouts are the way forward? What are your target viewers' attitudes towards your niche? Niche. Jot them down. Who cares about your niece? Values, something that confuses a lot of people. I've mentioned this in another video. Freddie Mercury, in a meeting with a record label when they wanted to change the concept of an album, once said, not in these exact words, that we're for the misfits, the people who don't feel like they fit in, and as a result, they wanted to reflect that in their music, not just stick to one sound the label was pushing. That's why pretty much all of their work sounds different. There's no Coldplay effect on their album where you think to yourself, didn't I just hear this song? Their values were clear to them. They reflected it in their content, and not only that, the band was full of misfits, a flamboyant frontman, to a ladies' man, to a drummer, to a geek, to John Deacon, the misfit in the misfits. You don't become arguably the best band in the world without this. You need to think about your own values and the values of your viewers and make sure that they're the same. For personal brands, you don't want to fake your values to try and please a bigger audience. I wouldn't buy an Alpha if they suddenly changed it to fit in with the rest. It would anger me and then end up sucking at it because that's not what they do. Our own values on this channel are what we call uncorporate. We don't believe in boring content, hiding personalities and not speaking your mind, and as a result, we're targeting viewers with the same beliefs and hopefully give them the confidence to do the same with their own work. You need to work out your values as a personal brand and write them down so all your content can reflect them. As a business, they might not reflect one individual at the company's mindset, so you need to spend more time working them out. It's hard to get in someone else's shoes, I'll tell you that. Then we have interests and hobbies. Interests and hobbies are probably your channel niche for many creators. That could be fitness, art, or making videos. For those where it's not, you need to think about what interests your viewers have. For example, if you're in the finance sector, you might find there are a lot of people whose interests are golf. You could put a golf spin on your content to make it more relevant to them. It just makes it feel so much more personal and, well, different. Then there's behaviours. What do people do? Are they out getting wasted on the weekend? Or are they spending time with the family? Maybe even both. Where do they hang out? Online? Are they in groups lurking on Twitter? Or going live on YouTube? Knowing what your target market do in their spare time or even in their work time means you know where to position your content so they can find it. You can't just rely on YouTube to show the right people your videos. At the end of the day, suggested views in search are either going to be your best friend or enemy. Work out who your viewers are and talk to them and them alone. And yes, 80% of people might not like what they see, but the 20% who do will rave about you. And that's way, way better than 100% of people finding you and thinking you're boring because you'll try to talk to everyone. If you want to look at your own YouTube strategies and check out this video here, hit like if you...
Okay guys, so I hope that was helpful. Well done for sticking through that. It's quite a long video, but as I said, it's very important and I didn't want to miss anything and I knew I'd miss stuff if I was live. So I've played that instead. So here's some actions to do, and it's really to go and investigate 2 platforms that you could promote your YouTube content on, which is crazy, especially if you're a business. You've got to find ways of promoting your marketing that's promoting your business, but that's probably the best place to start. So for us, we quite like Instagram. There's even platforms like Quora you could look at LinkedIn and other places. Now, people don't often like to leave platforms to see content, but that's the first place to start, is investigating other platforms outside of YouTube and thinking about your audience. So let's move on now to my next slide. Exciting this. Done who? Where? Okay, I sort of got slightly ahead of myself there. But yeah, you need 2 platforms really. You can't just rely, as I just mentioned, on YouTube to promote itself. I've just covered all this, which is great. So if we look at sharing and how you're going to share your videos, and we'll go into a little bit more details on this soon. Once you've picked your platforms, you need to work out ways to get more views on your videos to then get people back to YouTube to subscribe to your channel. So there's pros and cons when it comes to sharing content. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, the other ones, they don't give links shared on their platforms as much reach. So if I share one of my YouTube videos on LinkedIn, for example, they're going to tank it. If I upload the whole video to LinkedIn, then they'll show it to more people because they want to keep people on their platforms. Now, you've kind of got to look at it and go, hang on, if I'm trying to grow a YouTube channel, I don't want to keep people on LinkedIn. So I need to put the link right. And yeah, that's right, but less people will see it. And the other option is to make very short trailers of your videos, a minute long, that then try and drive people back to a YouTube channel. And I've experimented with both, and as a small business who doesn't have unlimited resources, I gave in and just went, no, this is just so much work trying to multi-purpose everything right now. Got a lot to do. So Facebook, I just post the link and it auto-generates and they can watch it in Facebook. LinkedIn, I've started doing that too, and it's saving me a lot of time. If you can, and you've got time and money to put aside, you want to be doing a mixture of getting trailers on other platforms to drive people back to your YouTube, as well as just posting the links. But you know, in small business land, we just don't have that luxury, do we? So, the next up is your how, and this is something important to think about. It's how often are you going to post to YouTube? So, if your goal states that you need to get to 10,000 subscribers, let's say in 3 years, you can't just be posting once a month. You've really got to post quite often. I'll show you in a little bit what happens when you post more often, but basically over time, the more you post, the more you can rank, the more you can get seen, and the more likely you are to have that exponential growth. But it doesn't mean that you just want to be sacrificing quality for quantity. Another thing to think about is how you're going to plan and get this content out. So we like to batch shoot our videos. And if you've got to put out one video a week, you'll still find that if you haven't shot, it goes out on a Friday and you haven't shot it by a Thursday, that you start to fall behind, and it always feels like it's niggling at you and you've got to promote it and make thumbnails and all these other things. So batch produce things. If you need to put out 4 videos a month, spend a day and make all 4 of them in one go, and then you can schedule them and get them out there. In our case, put out 3 videos a week, but try and get 3 months ahead. It's usually about a month ahead now. 3 months ahead was actually too far ahead, as we like to react to news a little bit more now. But you want to think about that. How are you going to get these shot? You're going to get promoted, and have a set plan, even a spreadsheet. Everyone loves a spreadsheet to keep track of it. And then you want to think about how are you going to know that this is working? So measurement. So if you look back at your goals and your 100 subscribers that matter, how are we going to know that they are doing what you want them to do? So at the start, if you've got 100 subscribers and your goal is to sell more products, you're probably not going to sell more products. In fact, you might not sell anything until you get to 3,000 subscribers, or it could be a lot less. Now, we've had experiences with clients recently who have only put a few videos on their YouTube and they've generated a 6-figure contract off the back of it because the competition was so low and they found it very easy to rank. So in order to get this first 100 subscribers and keep them interested, you also need to make sure that the content you're putting out is working. So you can look at that through the data they present in YouTube, which I'm not going to go into now because there's a whole sort of webinar on that itself. But think about it in your planning. What are the signs? Because again, if you're a marketing manager and suddenly your boss comes and says, where are the results? You do need to show them some progress, and there might not be any for that first year as we just established. So you need to give them slightly smaller KPIs. So yeah, the action from this is trying to develop some sort of workflow. So we have a spreadsheet which we research and plan all our content on. We then write it on Google Docs. We then shoot it, edit it, promote it, and that's the same workflow we go each time. And sticking to that, getting to the system, means you'll stick to it. So the next part of YouTube is kind of like more design based. So YouTube as a search engine is a very visual search engine. So you need to think about how people are going to notice your content. So let's say you produce a video and it just sits there with the default thumbnail, which usually looks like this, like someone frozen in time. You want to come up with a set thumbnail design, and if you're a business, you need to brand it around your business. I should have got some examples up on the screen. If you look at our YouTube channel, you'll see they all stick to our business look and feel. So that means when our content gets suggested to anyone who might have watched it before, they'll hopefully know that it's us and keep coming back. It also makes your product look a little bit more quality. Now, the problem we have now is auto preview has come in. So when people run their mouse over a video, it starts to auto-play, so they can actually see behind the thumbnail. So if you have amazing thumbnail design, your video looks awful, you still might not get a click. So you need to be thinking about your set as well and how you're going to produce this content. So always think to yourself, how can I make things look more quality? How can I make things look more eye-catching? Now the problem you have is when you have 100 subscribers or less, or even 1,000 subscribers, people instantly write you off as not credible. They can't help it. You have everything against you at the beginning. So the more quality, the higher quality, the better your content, the better the design, everything around it will help build that credibility. If you're thinking of just going on there and shooting with your phone, it's going to take a lot longer to build those first 100 subscribers and get past it. So I'd really recommend do as much as you can for your image to start off with. Now, we experimented for 18 months with production quality that I would say is lower. We didn't put as much time into it. We've changed it recently. We've built a bit more of a set. We've spent more time in the editing and things like that, and the results have spoken for themselves, really. We were growing at about 100 subscribers a month before we made the change, and we went up within about 6 weeks to 500 subscribers a month growth. So those first impressions really do count online. So I've got slightly off target there. Let's have a look at some techniques for getting people to subscribe once you've got this quality content and you know who you're after, and everything's in the right way, it's still going the right way, it's still going to be quite tough. So here's some subscriber techniques that might help you out. Now the first subscriber technique is the simplest subscriber technique in the whole world. You simply ask people to subscribe. I'm going to do it now. If you're not subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button. We release 3 videos a week and we go live every now and then to help you grow the channel and make better videos. That's it. That's how you ask someone to subscribe, and it's so simple. Unfortunately, a lot of people ask at the very beginning. Now, if you ask someone at the start of your video to subscribe before you've given them any value, it's just annoying. It's just getting in the way of what they've come to see. So I like to do it after some information that was really good, or just at the end, but be really open about it. So if you say it at the end and someone's got to the end of the video, they're way more likely to subscribe because they've just sat through it, which means they enjoy it. So our advice is don't do it front, which is everyone else's advice, because it's just rude, isn't it? There are other ways that you can ask that are super easy. I have a graphic I put onto my video and it pops up and says subscribe and then vanishes again. It's as simple as that. I don't have to keep asking. And since we've been using that, it's also helped pick up more subscribers. Because sometimes it's really annoying when people ask subscribe, isn't it? Subscribe to my channel, please. Subscribe now. Subscribe now. It gets a little bit desperate, whereas I feel like the images and things that you can add to it don't. So design some little templates that you can put on your videos. We've got some free ones that I've made for you somewhere. I'll put them in the link to this video at the end. And then the final thing is the end screen. So when you get to the end of a video on YouTube, you'll often see people say, click this, watch this video here, watch this video here. There's a button you can put in, subscribe button. Always put that in. Personally, we think you should point out to it in your video. You should say, watch this video here because it's relevant to what you've just watched, or watch this playlist because it's relevant to what you just watched, but make sure you hit subscribe. And since we've started doing that, I think it was a 4,000% increase in the amount it was pressed. I've put it in a video somewhere, but it makes a huge difference just being open and very honest with that. So let's move on to search. Now, it starts to get a little bit more complicated now. So as I mentioned, YouTube is a search engine. So that's what I love about it. Facebook, Instagram, these things aren't search engines. They are interruptions. You put things on social media in the hope that someone who said they're following you might be interested in what you have to say. Whereas when you put something on a search engine and people find you, they're looking for the solutions that you provide. So it almost shortcuts where they are in your marketing funnel. They know they've got a problem and they're looking for it, whereas social media is all about convincing people they have a problem and you have the solution, and then building on that over time. So search is an incredibly powerful weapon when it comes to YouTube. Incredibly powerful. Some of the businesses we've worked with who are ranking for things on YouTube, they could never ever rank with on Google, and it's generating business off the back of it. Now the next great thing about YouTube, I'm going to try and get this up if I can find it, no, I can't find it, apologies. So the next great thing, as I mentioned at the start, is you can appear on Google search. So when people type in a Google search, you actually pop up in the rankings. Let me get that up on screen, because it's a good thing to show this. So apologies whilst I do this for a sec. This wasn't something I'd...
There's a big issue online.
Just showing you everything here. Okay, cool. So let's have a look at here. Alright, so this is why you want to rank content on Google. How to make talking head videos. It's what our company specialises in. This is what happens when you type it into Google. The biggest piece of Google real estate you will ever have. We rank there for it. Then our website ranks for it here. And we used to have an AdWord too, so there's 3 places that you can find us on. Again, when you have a look here, you can see that we rank #1. Now the thing about YouTube and Google is, they work completely differently. So YouTube is all about watch time and average viewer attention. Google is all about backlinks. And when you type in how to make talking head videos, you'll see that actually we're miles off the top. So the potential of YouTube as a search engine is amazing because you can rank higher on Google than you can on YouTube with a video. It's actually easier to rank a video on Google than it is to rank a blog on Google. So that's why I'm really up for more businesses doing that. Sorry, I'm just clicking everything. So as I mentioned before, some niches have way less competition, way less than they would on Google, and it's really quite easy to find out how much competition you have. So through plugins like TubeBuddy, for example, if you type in how to make talking head videos, this thing here tells you that it's got a decent amount of search volume and very little competition. If you type in, let's think of a product. The best Les Paul, which is the guitar again, apologies. You can see that there's competition here is fair and the search volume is quite high, so it will tell you, these tools, how easy it is to rank for things. And this is a free plugin called TubeBuddy. There's a link in the description. So search is how you're going to get found as a small channel. You won't get suggested en masse. You really have to target what's known as long tail keywords. So have a look at your industry, have a look at your niche, and try and work out the different problems people have and how you can solve them using videos that talk about that issue, and then turn it into a search term. So just to give you an example, how to make the best videos is going to be way less specific. How to make the best talking head videos is very targeted. So, excuse me. So that's the sort of thing you need to think about. You need to think of long tail keywords. Give it a Google if you don't know much about it, around your niche. Because if you target competitive things, you just will not get found. Now I can show you a bit of a study that years ago, I mean this is one of our first ever videos, but we built it to rank on YouTube specifically. So let me see if I can...
There's a big issue on.
There we are. So how to pitch your business. Sorry, I need some water. So this video here, made 4 years ago, has 126,000 views, which is quite a lot. And the term is how to pitch your business in 60 seconds. So let me just break this down into how it works. The term how to pitch your business was far too general to start off with. We were never going to rank as that, because when you're a YouTube channel, you need to build authority. So the more content you put out, the more watch minutes you get, the more likely you are to get your content ranking in search. Now we used to go networking, and people used to do 60-second sort of pitches at the start of networking. So that was our target audience at the time. So we thought, okay, let's teach people how to film a short pitch to camera that enables them to sort of film their networking pitch. So I'm going to have to get some water, excuse me. Good old radio mic just came to the kitchen with me there. You gotta love a live. I'm just going to be coughing the whole time if I don't do this. So the term here, how to pitch your business in 60 seconds. Not many people search that, but actually, if we look at the stats, we might be able to dive a bit deeper. And because people who go networking, they actually used to type that in. So there was a bit of search interest in how to pitch your business in 60 seconds. And there was very little competition. So we sort of went in there and made a video on that. So once that had built up a bit of what's known as watch time, so let's have a look here and I'll show you, which is here, audience retention and watch time. So it's had 110 watch hours in the last 28 days. Let's have a look at it over its lifetime. Here we are. So it's had 2.8 thousand hours of watch time, and you can see this graph here. So that's where it was born, back in January. Something happened here, and it's got a bit of lift off. Now, what happened? Who knows? Someone could have shared it. It might give it a boost, or it might have been the cumulative effect of saying that it might have been the cumulative effect of all of these how to pitch a business in 60-second search terms coming in, building our watch time. And then what happened was the second part of this search term was how to pitch your business. And as the video built up more watch time and what's known as the audience retention stayed very high, which is this figure here, which is 70% of the video got watched throughout, which in YouTube terms is very high. The average video gets about 20 or 30%. It boosted it up the rank, and it activated what I call the level 2 keywords, so how to pitch your business. So that's when suddenly we started getting a lot more views, and then at some point in time, we then ranked for how to pitch. Now this took a long time to do, but you can see this video brings in views after views after views, and the video itself has picked up 484 subscribers, which when you look at our channel that's only got to nearly 3,000, it's quite a big chunk of it over time. So one video on YouTube can work for you for years and years and years. And if your search terms are relevant, like the how to make a talking head one, it will bring in business. And Simon, who's commenting and I think taking the mick out of me in the comments right now, actually discovered us through the how to make the best talking heads video, came to our YouTube channel, came to our website and became a client. Unfortunately, I'm joking aside. So that's search. It's your biggest weapon on YouTube as a new channel, and it is how you will get up past 100 subscribers and more. So I went on a bit there, apologies. I'm passionate about search. So let's look at marketing. Now, before I get onto that, I should note there is something else called suggested views on YouTube, and this is basically how channels blow up. So like Facebook suggests things and Instagram suggests things to people to watch, YouTube does it too. So it's just at the home page. If I search for videos on guitars, it will show me more videos on guitars and so on. But it doesn't just do it to any piece of content. It tests things out, and if you get traction, you can explode. And I've seen channels go from 1,000 subscribers to 10,000 in a month. Maybe even less, 100,000 in a month by this method, but it's kind of like winning the lottery. And if you're like us, you never get any luck, you never catch a break, you just spend years making videos and get nowhere. But it's another thing that makes YouTube so powerful. We recently made a video that got suggested and it got 40,000 views. It's brought in leads, 40,000 in about 3 months. But the secret formula to that is make quality content, which everyone's doing that, or everyone isn't doing that, but it's not great advice. So you can win the lottery on YouTube. I hope this is making sense. So next, we look at marketing. So let's get this slide up for you. Now you need to hustle when you've got no subscribers. So the first thing you can do is show your friends and family. Now you've got to be very careful here. I'd say if you're making marketing content, don't bother. Unless your friends or family are actually your target audience, which you would have figured out from earlier. My friends and family would not really do much other than give me feedback that wasn't that useful. So think about that. If you've got friends who are all interested in niche, fine, show them your content, get them to subscribe, but you don't want people subscribing to your channel who don't really care about it. Social media sharing, we went over earlier, to link or not to link, that is the question, as well as using trailers. But I think probably the most powerful thing is reaching out to other platforms. So this is where we've had some luck, really. And the problem, as I mentioned earlier, is when you're small, no one takes you seriously. They find your video and go, it's only got a few subscribers, I don't know if I want to watch it. However, publications do not treat you like that. So if you're making product reviews or something that's useful, you can reach out to the big publications within your industry and say, look, I've made this video on X, Y, and Z. I think your viewers would be interested. Why don't you embed it? Or even better, ask to write for them and then drive people back to your YouTube channel. Because they can spot quality content. They're not interested in your following size, which is great. So you could even say, I'm happy to make a video specifically for your website or your email list, and then try and drive people back your way. And if they have 1 million or 2 million visitors to their site a month, they're doing all of the hard work for you. You've just got to get the content out there and drive people back. So I'd have a think about that. If you think your content quality is high and you know what you're talking about, forget social media, forget search, piggyback off someone who's done all the hard work for you. And that brings us on to production quality. Now, I spoke about this a little bit earlier. We really wanted to believe that YouTube would allow people to progress who were producing maybe sort of phone shot footage, and I just don't think it's true. Even with our sort of footage, our content that we shot that was a little bit lower quality than we could probably produce, we still found it made a massive difference making the effort. So if you're doing slides like I've been doing today, just put the effort into the slides. It's fine. You can build a whole following with webinars, this sort of content. But just think, by all means, test it with a phone. But you should really be investing in proper kit, a camera, a good mic, lights, and you don't have to spend the earth on it. But you need to make sure that first impression counts, and that's what we believe. Other people may disagree. We'd also say build a studio. Now, I'm currently shooting this in my spare room, but we do have a dedicated studio. If there's a room in your house or a room in your office that you can just leave everything set up, producing videos will be so much easier because you can just walk into that room, turn the camera on, turn the lights. If you've got an auto cue, put that on too, and start making content. The reason most channels fail is because producing video becomes a headache, and then they look at it and go, is it really worth all that effort for a few views, as they start to build their channel? And it may not feel like it, and it probably isn't. But if you can batch produce, like I mentioned earlier, and shoot 4 or 5 videos in a row, leave it set up, then the next week go and do it without any of the hassle of mucking around with cameras and so on, you're way more likely to succeed here. And then finally, editing. So there's editing, and then there's editing. The good news is, when you're making vlogs, you can get away with the first kind of editing. You don't need special effects. If you're making educational stuff like this, you can keep it pretty simple. So for our own videos, we kind of have a template that we follow. There's an intro, and a bit of text that says what the video is, and then we add what we call text chapters over the top. So it breaks up the content into little sections of what we're going to talk about. And that's actually a really simple way of editing videos. And once you've devised what your editing template will look like, then again, your production quality will increase. You're just doing the same task over and over again. You'll get better and better at it. You don't need to worry about funky transitions or any of these other things. And it will help you keep making that content that's going to grow your channel and hopefully generate revenue, represent your business and your channel in the way that you want to be. But unfortunately, editing on a phone, it's not worth the time or hassle. It's impossible. I'm sure people with tablets and big phones and whatnot will say, it's fine, I edit on a phone. But trust me, if you learn to edit on a computer, it might take a lot longer. Once you've got past that initial learning curve, you're going to make content so much quicker and so much more professionally. Sorry, I've really got a cough going on here. And this is the final part, really, about getting your first 100 subscribers. It's all about your content as well as looking good. So, advice out there is always frustrating for me and Dave because so many people say just make better content, and it's really not helpful advice for anyone at all, because how do you make better content? You see it all the time. Neil Patel, no offence Neil, I do like you, not that you're watching, he's the worst at it. He says all you need to do to rank on Google is do this, 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 and just make the best content. And it's like, how am I supposed to make the best content? I've never made a video before, so I'm new to this. So focus as much time as you can on learning to make better content. The best resource is obviously on our YouTube channel. We have a free course on our website that will teach you how to do that. But think of it like this. As an equation anyone can follow, we talk about this all the time. Is your video actionable, informative, and entertaining? Now you can get away with 2 of the 3, but ideally you want all 3. So start with entertaining. Entertainment doesn't have to be, like a clown. Things can be entertaining using metaphors. Things can be entertaining telling stories. Even just sort of, dropping in something like I've been doing earlier, just little sort of musings here and there. Just makes it slightly more entertaining and real. Informative. This goes back to writing and why I always tell people to write their content. If you're making educational stuff, your business, you want it to be good. Not just good, you want it to be better than everyone else's. So Google's great and YouTube's great for looking and comparing yourself and giving you a list of people you need to make better videos than. And you can go a lot deeper, a lot quicker. So the first thing we do when we make a video is we have our title, we research it using TubeBuddy, which we went through earlier. And then we look at the competition and we study what they're talking about, what we think they're missing out on, and also what from that content we almost missed out on. And using those 3 things together, we can then write our videos out and make sure that they're incredibly informative. And I think we did an alright job at that. It also means removing waffle, and that's part of the entertainment side of things too. So what I don't know about lives is I've probably repeated myself tons today. If this is written and presented, there's going to be way less repetition. That makes things more interesting for people. And then actionable. So earlier on I gave some advice. I said go away and pick 2 social media platforms to try this on. That's actionable. It means people can go and do something. So if you then go and do it and go, oh, guy was right, you're going to be building a relationship with me. You might even turn around and go, actually, I want this guy to produce my videos, and it's more helpful in that way, shape, or form. By the very nature of it, a lot of YouTube channels are just completely actionable. So think about that when you're making your content. And then ideally you want to target emotions, things like awe. You can create awe, you're more likely to get shared. It's very hard to do. But really amusement and keeping people interested is the best sort of emotion to target for this stuff. I won't go into that, there's a whole webinar on it. So YouTube's all about your content, of course, like most things. And the most important thing I think to remember is that, what I've written here on this brick wall, every video is a brick and you're building a castle. So it's very frustrating, especially for small creators. You know, Dave put out a video the other day, he slogged his guts in, it got 40 views, and we were like, why has this not got more views? It's brilliant. Problem was, it wasn't the sort of thing people search for. It was slightly deeper marketing content, and we know that really if we put a video about how to make money on YouTube, it'll get way more views, but it's not necessarily what people want to see. So every video you produce is a brick and you're building a castle. You don't just fire out a castle straight away. So that's how you get your first 100 subscribers and more. I hope it wasn't too intense, hope it made sense. I'm going to hit the questions up now to see what people have been talking about in the question box. I apologise I haven't been able to read them more. As you can see, I've had a lot of slides and things going on. So first question is from InSync Europe. How long did it take you to get 100 subscribers? The answer is I don't know. We used to use YouTube as a dumping ground. We just put videos on it to host because we had them. We never did really much of them at all. And I remember when we started doing this channel properly, the start of 2019, we had 380. So that's, in 18 months, we've grown nearly 10 times, give or take. How much harder does it feel to be live when you don't have protection of jump cut scripts and editing? Way harder, especially when you keep coughing. Live suits some people more. It's kind of like talking to a crowd. I like being able to spend the time editing and writing and making everything as super polished as possible. It's different for different people, I think. Ultramax, we're on 50 subscribers, so your first bit was 90 for us. So Ultramax is in the comments. Ultramax, if you want to check them out, Ultramax Coatings Limited. So they've been generating quite a lot of business from their YouTube channel, just targeting those long tail keywords that I was talking about. In fact, they generated a lot from it. It quite blew my mind. Hi there, Diana. So Diana says she does keyword research based on ranking on Google. So that's an interesting point. So when you're researching videos to try and build your following, you can just look at Google as a way of getting views. We're currently working with a marketing platform who want YouTube videos just to rank on Google. They're not actually that bothered by what happens on YouTube. They just want to bring more traffic via Google to their website. Ed looks so young in that old video. Thanks for that, Simon. As Rob Balasavas is in the house. Hello, Rob. So, how often should you be uploading if you're looking to get to your first 100 subscribers? So I kind of think I touched on that a little bit. There is no right and wrong here. Let's say you upload one killer video a week. Now, you could spend all of the rest of that week promoting it everywhere you could. You know, go on Facebook groups and put it out. It's a great way of promoting content. Going on Quora and answering people's questions with it, reaching out to publications, posting it on Instagram, Twitter, absolutely everywhere. And you probably find that video gets a lot more views. Or you could do what we do, which is very intense. So we put out 3 videos a week. But if you look at our channel now, after doing that consistently for 18 months, our growth is, things are kicking off nicely. I'll see if I can get my analytics up for you and show you. So that is, so what's happening now, right now, to our channel is because we have got a lot of views and things are ranking for these long-term keywords that don't actually have many searches, but they do have some. It means we're getting seen. So if I just go to our graph over the lifetime of the channel, you can see here, this is March this year. So this is exponential. It is dipping a bit because lockdown gave us more traffic. But, you know, we slogged it out from, that was it when we started doing the channel properly here. And it grew very, very slightly for a while. And then suddenly, boom. And we are, although we have slowed down a bit, we're sort of maintaining about 400 subscribers a month at the moment. And that's mainly because videos are bringing in views from all over the place. We've got some heavy hitters that are bringing in views, but actually the fact that we've made so much content, so much is starting to rank for all these more obscure search terms means that, you know, an extra 30 videos a day is about an extra 30 views a day is like 10,000 views extra a year. So it doesn't sound much, but they all add up. So I'd say quality and quantity, if you can. Simon, who, as I mentioned earlier, who found us on YouTube and became a client, so the best thing I ever did was invest in kit. I use it for virtual meetings now, and everyone comments on it. There's definitely an air of people are impressed when you use your production kit for things like Zoom calls. I've been doing it since lockdown started, and I've not had one person yet not comment on it. It makes you look pretty credible, which is handy for me because I'm not. I'm just going to see if there's any more questions. Who is taller, Ed or Dave? Not many people know this, but I'm taller than Dave. Cheers to the plug-in, no problem. Question is, that cough new and persistent? Are you feeling hot? You lost your sense of smell. On that note, no, I don't have the coronavirus. I'll hang around for a little bit longer if there's any other questions. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I hope that was useful. Do check out the channel. If you hate editing, let us know. We've just started a new editing service, so we'll just do it for you if you like. That's a plug. Don't usually do that. I am still aware that you're here with just a slight lag. So I look at the when you're going live, you look at there's about a 30-second delay. So I'm just waiting for any comments. Otherwise, I'm just going to cut it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Do I go live at a regular time each week? Yes, Diana, I do. It's Tuesday at 4 PM British time. So this is because Rob Balasabas told me I should do it, and I listened to him. And our views are up this week. I promoted it a little bit more, and I'm going to do it for a few months, and then I'm going to give you our... oh, do you know what I've just remembered? I really should have got this in the presentation. So a lot of people join YouTube because they want to get monetized. So when you get 1,000 subscribers, and you need 4,000 hours watch time a year, you can get the ads on. And watch time is really good for building your YouTube channel's authority as well. And actually the best way for most people to build a watch time is by going live. So you only need 10 people to watch for an hour, and suddenly you might have 18 hours of content. You do the maths. But going live as a small channel and getting small amount of viewers in will help you build your overall channel watch time. So I'm going to be doing this every Tuesday. Next week, we have an editor on who, if you look on our community board, edited one of the most ridiculous videos I've seen. So he's going to be talking us through editing and creating sort of effects for your videos as well. So I think we're going to go for the basics. His name's Pav, and his editing is unbelievable. So thanks for turning up. I'm going to head off now because run out of things to say. Take care.